Today we're going to explore an ancient Roman monument that doesn't get enough press. It's the wondrous Ephesus Monument, the so-called Parthian altar. And it's located in Vienna, a great place to explore ancient Rome.
This is one of the greatest 2nd century AD imperial monuments from Ephesus, and it is a masterpiece here on display in Vienna. I'm overwhelmed. It is just so incredible. There's so many details that we can see. The craftsmanship is superb. And of course, we're talking about some of the most legendary emperors of the 2nd century depicted here.
This monument's all about glorifying Roman victory over the vanquished foe, in this case, the Parthians, the arch enemy of imperial Rome. Where was this monument located? In Ephesus, on the western coast of Asia Minor, a major city in the 2nd century AD. Here's a reconstruction of that city when it is a grand imperial city. There's the theater, there are the portico systems, it had a harbor connected to the Mediterranean, and a real standout feature, of course, is the reconstructed Library of Celsus, also excavated by the Austrians, and it's in front of the Library of Celsus that you have the discovery of these important relief panels that we're going to be investigating today. So we get a sense of that context in this glorious Roman city.
The Parthian monument here has these life-size figures, and standing in front of the most important one of all, it depicts the dynasty of the Antonines. You've got Hadrian, Antoninus Pius, Marcus Aurelius, and Lucius Venus. And ultimately, the victory that's depicted here, originally in Ephesus, was that victory over the Parthians by Lucius Venus, the co-emperor with Marcus Aurelius. It is a testament to the incredible work that the sculptors, what they were doing in Asia Minor. It is a treasure trove of information about how we have allegorical associations elevating the imperial family to the status of gods. And of course, it's all here in Vienna in the Ephesus Museum. It's one of the most extraordinary things you'll see from 2nd century AD Roman Empire.
Let's now take a deep dive into the Ephesus altar, the Parthian Monument, as is better known. It dates to the 2nd century AD. It's made of Thasian dolomite marble. It was located in Ephesus, which under Augustus became the capital of proconsular Asia, displacing Pergamon as the capital. And because of that, Ephesus became very rich, very prosperous, and a major center of commerce. Now, without a doubt, the Parthian Monument is one of the most important extant monuments from the Roman Empire, and its discovery took place in the early 20th century. The excavators understood that already in late antiquity, some of the slabs had been repurposed as the balustrade of a fountain that was erected in front of the Hadrianic Library of Celsus. Other slabs were found repurposed as other building material and even used to repair roads. The bulk of the fragments of this monument found by the Austrian archaeologists took place in the beginning of the 20th century, and that is why those pieces are now on show in Vienna. Much later, from the 60s to the 90s, other reliefs were discovered in Ephesus, and you see them integrated into the presentation of the Parthian Monument in Vienna as copies. Now, what was the original appearance of this monument? We still don't know, because the original monument has not yet been discovered. And because these panels had been repurposed at least once, it's very difficult to understand its original appearance. So the theories from the archaeologists go that it either looked like the apotheosis or the Pergamon altar. In this portion of the Parthian Monument, we see a section of relief over top reconstructed Ukrainian garlands, just what we have in the apotheosis. Or rather, they were interior reliefs within a square building somewhere as yet to be identified in Ephesus. The monument was famous in antiquity, it was visible, it was public, and definitely financed by the imperial family. And what you have here depicted uniquely is 3 generations at once, because you have the Emperor Hadrian, who adopted Antoninus Pius and forced him to adopt Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus. So that's an incredible moment in Roman history under the emperors, and we have it encapsulated in this single panel. Now, as to the purpose of the original monument, scholars are still debating. Is it something that was honoring ultimately Antoninus Pius, who consolidated the empire and was also in 140 the governor of Ephesus? Is he the main protagonist of the original monument? Or is it really all about Lucius Verus, who was the victor of the war against Parthia that's depicted in the reliefs in the 160s, and then it was followed by his death in 169, and we have a panel of his apotheosis. He is ascending into heaven. Is he the real protagonist of this monument? The debate rages on. But what we can do securely is identify 4 main scenes. Let's take a look. The well-being of the empire rests on the well-being of its provinces. We have many of them personified here in this series of panels. And of course, we have a faceless emperor right here, behind him, the she-wolf in twins. So we have that harmonious interrelationship between the emperor and the various provinces. And we have a difficulty in identifying them. Potentially one of these is Sicily or Mesopotamia. We have a lot of uncertainties about the exact identities of the provinces, but certainly these are provincial figures. And beyond it, there's a whole series of representations of the gods. Ultimately, we're aiming towards the deification of the emperor. So we have a whole series of deities, not so well preserved, except for these 2. And we can tell they are on the left, Venus, and on the right, Cybele. Another scene, of course, is a whole series of panels devoted to depicting the glorious and violent Parthian War. This is the war fought in the 160s, led by Lucius Verus, who was co-emperor at the time with Marcus Aurelius. And we see here the horrific scenes of battles. And of course, mostly the scenes show the Roman soldiers vanquishing, slaughtering, manhandling the vanquished foe. Some of them are Parthian, some apparently are also German, depending on the dress of the individual conquered foe. These reliefs, almost 3-dimensional, demonstrate the quality, the craftsmanship that was involved in the creation of such a large monument. It is so impressive, it is so violent, it is so 3-dimensional. The third scene that stands out is the one of apotheosis. We think that this is Lucius Verus ascending into heaven. We have parallel examples of this in Rome itself. And in each case, we have a chariot here on the left, accompanied by the god Apollo on the right. That's a cast because it was found later on. And on this side, we have another relief. We have a goddess in a chariot. In this case, it's Artemis, balancing that of Apollo, also ascending into the heavens. This whole series of panels is dedicated to the imperial family of imperial family members. Of course, we've already seen Antoninus Pius and Hadrian and so forth. We have a sacrificial scene, and then we have these 2 ladies, none other than Sabina and Faustina. So we have imperial family members, we have more distant relatives, and then we have the immediate imperial family, including the empresses, more than one in this case. And again, we get more views of that magnificent battle sequence of the Parthians against the Romans, showing the Roman army at its peak. And that violence and that drama is encaptured in every single figure. Thanks so much for joining me in Roman Vienna and a little taste of Ephesus. I encourage you to come to this important museum. It is so phenomenal. And also eventually get yourself to Ephesus as well and put those 2 experiences together. Thanks for watching.